and welcome to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez. I'm your host for today's show. Today we have a great show lined up for you with all our partners actually here at PraDa Law. Before I introduce our attorneys, though, I want to remind everyone that this is a live show, so you can call in at any time. The call is free. Your first consultation will be free. That number's right on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. It's Tuesday. Let's introduce our attorneys. First up, we have our partner here, Daniel Silver.
Hello, how is everyone doing? Pleasure to be here.
And of course, our other partner, Alexis Garcia.
Hi, Jackie. Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me tonight.
And of course, the lovely Jennifer Pratt.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. We're here. Let's get it popping.
Let's do
So
it.
happy to be here this evening.
I would like an adjective before you introduce me, please. Jennifer, that's lovely. I would like if you would throw one my way, please.
Okay, the stunning
Thank you.
attorney, Alexis Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. You got it.
Too.
How about salacious?
Okay, the salacious Daniel Silver. Our partners here at PraDa Law Live, 888-88-LEGAL. The number's easy, the consultation's free. Give us a call.
The pressure, Jackie. It's all on you.
No,
People are.
She's right though. I should have an adjective.
Right?
Adjective.
It's just that I'm used to
Tuesday.
saying the lovely Jennifer Pratt. It just
It
kind of rolls
comes
off the
so
tongue.
natural. You know, I don't blame her.
But she's right.
We'll get the thesaurus for the next show.
So
We'll do that.
let's see. What do we got going on today? Today it's family and sprinkled with some bankruptcy.
That's right.
And I know that we've got Attorney Silver here today, and that suit and tie combination is just to die for.
Sharp.
Is that a little eye on the side? What is that?
No,
What
it's
is that going on? Okay, I thought I saw a little eye. I was like,
All the stripes, all the patterns.
And of course, everyone looks lovely today. So let's get right into it, right? We want to talk family law, and we're going to focus today on discovery. And, you know, this is a word that we use a lot in the legal world, whether it's a civil case, family case, which family is technically civil, but I just group it in its own its own category. Whether it's a criminal case, the word discovery is going to come up. And I have clients ask me often, what does that mean? What does that mean, discovery? Well, this ain't like, the Santa Maria ship. This ain't Columbus. That's not what we're talking about. But in a way, kind of, sort of, right? Discovery is the process of investigating the case, of getting information, evidence, whatever it is that you're going to extract and then hopefully use in your case in chief later on, or in some cases could help convince you to settle right away, depending on what's found, right? Attorney Silver, let's start with you, family law. Talk to me about discovery. I hear there's something called mandatory documents or disclosures. What is that all about?
So first off, discovery to me is really not just investigating your own, but it's the exchange of information by both parties. So whenever you have a case involving a child support obligation or an alimony claim, you have mandatory disclosure, which basically means the legislature has come out with this list of documents that everyone needs to produce. So
this was a legislator that brought this
well,
up.
it's promulgated in the rules of procedure. The point being, this is Florida law. Florida law says you got an alimony claim, you got a child support claim. These are the mandatory disclosure documents. You can't, get out of producing them. And they're real basic: 3 years of tax returns, 3 months of bank statements, 3 months of credit card statements, some, other basic documents, retirement account statements. But of course, that's kind of the first stage of the investigation, because once someone gives you the mandatory disclosure documents, you can use those documents to see what else you might be able to get.
It's just like you lawyers to just want to keep digging and asking more questions.
Let me give you a good example. So you'll get 3 months of bank statements in mandatory disclosure, but no one's ever going to give you 3 years of canceled checks. And you have to sometimes you'll have to subpoena the bank account. But point being, without the mandatory disclosure, you're not going to know what bank accounts to subpoena. So you subpoena, get canceled checks, deposit slips, get every single record. Because quite frankly, in my experience, if there's some smoking gun document that exists, the other side isn't just going to give it to you on a silver platter. Ah, you like that? You like that? You like that? You like that? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The number's easy. The consultation is free.
He's just as cheesy at home, too. I mean, this is all the time. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay, so discovery. So there's a list of documents in every family case, whether it's a divorce or a paternity action, correct? That we're all going to have to give.
If there's a child support claim or an alimony claim, yes.
Okay, and then you're saying that after we exchange those documents, there could be more questions and more discovery that you do.
Absolutely. There's all sorts of different discovery mechanisms. You have a request to produce, which could be, a laundry list of 3 years of every conceivable record over the sun. You've got interrogatories, which is a fancy word for questions that need to be answered under oath, or a request for admission. So, admit or deny that this statement is true. But either way, there are lots of tools for us to get the information that our clients need.
How far back can you go?
Typically standard is 3 years, but banks will keep records 7 years. If you're going to ask someone to produce something, 3 years is pretty standard, but anything more than that, you're better off just issuing a subpoena to get the records straight from the horse's mouth.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Silver. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call.
Attorney Garcia, in the concept, in the world of bankruptcy, and there usually is not someone opposing you in terms of the,
initially.
Initially at least, right. And we don't want to scare anyone because bankruptcy is typically a very smooth process. And in fact, the code itself says they want everyone that files to, quote, start fresh or something like that. You may know the words a little better than me. But is there anything like mandatory disclosures or mandatory documents that you have to give to the court?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's going to be the same almost basic documents that Attorney Silver just discussed. You need tax returns, bank statements, proof of income, so you're going to need pay stubs. If you aren't a W-2 employee, you'll need some sort of maybe profit and loss or some proof of what funds you receive. 401k statements, bankruptcy court will go a little further, and if you do have assets such as cars or homes, they'll want to know what you owe on them, so your statements for your secured debts and things like that.
In all fairness, the real property deeds, right, that's certainly included in mandatory disclosure as well. Absolutely. Any documents that say you owe anyone any money, correct, residential lease, things of that nature. And the bankruptcy court's not going to ask for all your credit card statements per creditor, but that could potentially come up in certain cases. Oh, if you are asserting an asset is non-marital, then it's your burden to produce that document in mandatory disclosure as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Attorney Garcia, Attorney Silver, Attorney Pratt. We do have to take a very, very quick short break, but we'll be back with more information. This is PraDa Law Live. That number is on the screen. It's 888-88-LEGAL. The show is live. Give us a call if you have any questions. We're willing to take your questions, and we'll be right back. We have a couple more questions for Attorney Garcia.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size. We know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez. We've been talking a little bit about bankruptcy, family law. Today's Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. That number on that screen, 88-LEGAL. Give us a call. That consultation will be free. Jennifer.
That's right. But you know, in talking about these cases, there's a lot of wealth of information that we're talking about in terms of these mandatory discovery documents and then the minimum documents required for bankruptcy. I want to go back to Attorney Silver because I want to know, Attorney Silver, what is the end game? I mean, okay, so you're asking this person, whether it's the ex-husband or the current husband or wife, about everything under the sun, about their financials. I mean, what's your end game? What are you doing with this? What's the objective here? Where are we going?
First off, discovery, it's completing an investigation. So first and foremost, before we start asking people questions under oath, because people lie. Documents don't lie. Documents don't lie. So we get the documents first, and then we start doing discovery depositions.
Documents could be forged. They could lie.
Forged, but then they're still forged documents.
Okay.
You know? And
you've had cases like that.
Oh, absolutely. We've worked with.
And what do you use for those kind of
handwriting experts or ink dating analysis experts?
I love it.
Is actually very interesting.
Real nerd talk.
Very interesting.
Give it to me.
You got it. You got it. You know, so when ink is written with a normal pen, it can be, I guess, the latent ink impressions and the ink dating, the age of the ink can be determined. You basically, the scientists,
Carbon dating.
Yeah, the scientists, they take a little micro syringe and they actually like suck a little bit of the ink out and then they test the ink.
I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park right now.
So
Exactly.
So if the ink is like 6 months old versus 3 months old, they may be able to tell that. But there does come a point in time where after a few years where the ink, they just can tell it's old and that's it.
And of course, this was not a case in our office. This is a case we heard about. But you did talk about with one of these experts about something as small as a paper clip could make the difference, right, Attorney Silver? It was not one of our cases, so we're clear.
But I had this in another case. But regardless, so people will try and artificially age documents, and they will do so by sometimes hanging them on like a line and exposing them to different sorts of light. But when they'll use a little clip or a paper clip, that little tiny mark can be enough to make the document a false question document.
Exactly. Well, okay.
That is interesting.
It is. It's very interesting. 888-88-LEGAL, ladies and gentlemen. Give us a call. That consultation is free.
So, okay, so you asked me for all these documents, and now you're saying people lie in the documents, or so you're not going to depose me or depose anyone in the case until you first have documents in front of you, correct?
Right. Because otherwise, people are just going to say what they want to say, and the documents aren't going to be effective in cross-examination. If you start taking depositions and you don't have all the right documents, and then you get the right documents later, you might not be able to go back and ask the questions you really wanted to ask at a deposition.
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call.
And in terms of how long we can go back, I know Attorney Silver said in the family context it's generally 3 years, but if we want to go further, we can subpoena these third parties directly. I'll go back to Attorney Silver on that. What about in bankruptcy? What about if I want to file bankruptcy today? How far back is this trustee or this court going to be able to go back?
Okay, so we'll start with typically what the trustee is going to do. Now, you have several trustees, which you may get when you file a bankruptcy. It's random blind assignment, so you don't know what trustee you're going to be assigned. Most trustees in Dade County ask for your last 6 months of bank statements. There is one who asks for a year, so I always prep my clients as you come into my office. I never want less than a year bank statement, so I can be ready for everybody. Some of the trustees only want 3 years of your tax returns. There's one trustee who wants 5 years of tax returns. So there again, I ask my clients for all, the correct number of documents. The bankruptcy code is a federal code, and per the federal code, the trustee can easily ask for 2 years of documents, should they choose. That typically only happens when they find interesting, information or smoking gun information in the initial documents. They'll expand their request. And if they feel there is some fraud presented somewhere, there's a state law that ties in, and the Florida state law allows going back up to 5 years for documents, 4 years. So a trustee will potentially ask for 4. Typically, you're not going to have to start with all of that, but it can get there depending on your trustee and what is seen in your initial disclosures.
And every case is different, and obviously our job here is to encourage those folks that are eligible and that want to get rid of their debt to file bankruptcy. But just briefly, like, what are some of these smoking guns?
Yes.
Like, is it like large deposits, big transfers?
Oh, okay. So
I don't
many
know.
things. Yeah, they're looking for. Well,
Vacations, presidential suites, hint, hint, Mr. Silver. I don't know. What are they looking for?
Right. Well,
here?
what you're looking for first is, you know, if the client's W-2, but you have all these cash deposits, or is there an additional source of income? Was that a source of income disclosed? Because if you have cash deposits, but then you note in your documents, oh, I have a side job in cash, there's no problem there. They make sense. You're also going to look for transfers. Are there any transfers to bank statements? If so, are those statements listed in your account? I mean, in your bankruptcy petition.
And let me stop
Yeah,
because
yeah.
a lot of people, including in family law, Mr. Silver, get caught like that.
Yes, yes.
They say, these are my bank statements, and then when we're looking at them,
Transfers
we
to
say,
all these other
oh, what is this 7901? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that's my other statement that I have with my cousin.
Also, wherever the tax refunds go, because the trustees look to see what accounts your tax refunds go in, so you want to make sure.
Be extra cognizant. Not only we have bank accounts, you've got PayPal, you've got Zelle, you've got Venmo.
All of those. They ask.
And they're all discoverable.
Right. And so those documents need to match up, obviously, with your account.
Everything needs to match up, every deposit. So I'm sorry, continue. Anything else that would be like if this person was sitting in front of you right now, you go, absolutely not.
Absolutely. Yeah. What was this transfer? Why was this cash withdrawal? Oh, I took the cash. Okay, what did you do with the cash? You know, is there consistent cash withdrawals that there's no explanation for how they're spending the money? These are all things that, as an attorney, I investigate before I submit the case.
Right, there's got to be those receipts. If there is that cash withdrawal. Okay, well, well, we do have to take a short break before our last segment. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind all our viewers at home that that number on the screen is the number you need to call for your free. The call's free, and that consultation will be free. The number is 888-88-LEGAL. It's pretty simple. And
that's right, Jackie. It's super simple. When we come back, I want to talk to both Attorney Silver and Attorney Garcia about inheritance and settlement money and how that may or may not affect your bankruptcy and or your family case. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera de 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez, once again, your host for today's show. That number on the screen, that 888 number, 888-88-LEGAL, that's the number that you want to call in at any time during the show and for your free consultation. So it's Tuesday. We've been talking bankruptcy. We've been talking family law. We have a couple questions for Attorney Silver and Attorney Rodriguez. Jennifer, take it away.
That's right, Jackie. Thank you so much. And, you know, in these hard times where we've got so many people out of work right now due to the deadly virus that we all know what that virus is, we're not going to say the name because then YouTube wants to play with my show, and we can't have that here, so we're not going to say the name, but you know what virus I'm talking about, right? With that being said, you know, a lot of people are trying to see, okay, what money is coming in, right? And you're looking at the future, and you're looking to say, oh yeah, that person owes me. Oh yeah, maybe I should have sued for that. And maybe you're in a very fortunate situation where you have money coming to you, whether it's by way of an inheritance, a settlement, and there's all different ways you can have a settlement, right? Personal injury, workers' compensation. We've heard it all here on the show in the past few weeks and months that we've been on, you know, catering to you all, the public. But I want to know how it affects a family case and a bankruptcy case. Let's start with Mr. Silver. Mr. Silver, if you and I are married, hypothetically, of course, and I know that you are coming up on a huge inheritance, how does that affect our marriage, if at all?
It's mine. That's how it affects it. Unless I was, of course, silly enough to deposit it in a joint account and commingle it with a bunch of marital funds, then it would probably lose its non-marital nature.
Okay, no, seriously. So you're saying it's because so you're saying it's not mine?
It's in the statute.
I married you for nothing?
You married me for me. But any inheritance would be my separate non-marital property because that's what the Florida statute says.
People can mess that up, right?
Oh, of course.
How do they mess that up?
I mean, basically get that inheritance, put it in a marital account, mix it up with some of my marital income and some of our marital money, and give it a couple of months because money is fungible. Think of it this way. You have a handful of rice, throw it in the bag. And it's like, wait, let's get all that rice back. You can't. So think of it that way as the money. Thank you.
But hold on. So what if you get this inheritance and you just start paying like the household bills with it? Is that commingling? Like you keep it in your separate account, but you're using it towards the marital estate in terms of our house, our cars, our children's education, whatever.
That's my choice, and whatever I spent out of my non-marital funds would obviously become, you know, marital, and that we're paying marital expenses. But it's not going to change the non-marital nature of my separate inheritance account, which I keep in my separate name and not titled in your name.
I want to come back to you, but I want to touch base with Attorney Garcia real quick. Inheritance. Let's just break it down. Inheritance, and I want to file bankruptcy. Is that going to affect my being able to file for bankruptcy?
It doesn't affect you being able to file. It affects you receiving the inheritance. That is subject to turnover to what we call the bankruptcy estate, unless you could find some other protection. For example, are you inheriting your mother's homestead and it is your homestead too? Is there some way we can use a protection like that because you live there, for example? But other than that, inheritance does become part of the bankruptcy estate.
I've heard, Attorney Garcia, that in the bankruptcy estate, it's everything until the day of filing. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm no bankruptcy guru here with this. So what if I already filed with you, of course, because you wouldn't file with anyone else except Alexis Garcia. I filed with you, we're waiting for the 341, and God forbid, boom. My dad passed away, and he left me $1 million.
It's part of the estate only when it comes to inheritance, yes.
Only when it comes to inheritance.
For example, if you are in a car accident, personal injury claims are subject to the bankruptcy estate. So if I crash in March, I file my bankruptcy in June, and I receive a personal injury payout in July, guess what? My bankruptcy trustee gets those funds for the personal injury payout. Now, if I file June and I file June 1 and I crash June 2, no, that personal injury, those funds, that settlement are mine. They do not belong to the estate.
Wow, thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. A lot of information. Ladies and gentlemen, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call.
This may sound silly. What if I win the lotto after I file?
No, that's not subject to turnover.
That's great.
Inheritance has that separate nature because there could have been something pending. And a lot of the time, the individual will pass before, but you don't actually receive the inheritance till later too. So that is still part of the estate because you have to, and it's one of the questions the trustee asks, has anyone passed or are you in the process of a probate or an inheritance?
Attorney Silver?
Just real quick. So personal injury settlements in family cases can be very technical because, you know, if you have monies for pain and suffering, that could be your non-marital asset. However, if you have money for lost wages or loss of consortium, those monies can be a marital asset. So if you have a personal injury settlement, it's very important to see how the monies are categorized to see whether or not it's going to be marital or non-marital.
And this is why you need a PI attorney like myself to make sure that the words in there says it's all pain and suffering, so your husband and your wife don't get none of it in your divorce. We've got 30 seconds.
Well, I was also going to say quickly that happens with property damage claims. It's for your homestead, you can keep it, but if some goes to the property inside, not the structure, that could be subject to turnover too. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. The show is over, unfortunately, but Yeah, we will be back tomorrow, though. I want to thank all our partners here at PraDa Law, Daniel Silver, Alexis Garcia, and Jennifer Pratt. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm Jackie Mendez, and thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great, great evening, and tomorrow will be a great show as well, right?
That's right.
Thank you so very much. We'll see you then.